Hi folks, welcome back to the Hoard. Had some real nasty storms yesterday. Here at the Hoard, I had no problem, but I guess the family homestead out in Pennsylvania took some hits. My son called, said there were a lot of trees down and so forth. Anyway, today's topic is I'm back on the Junkyard Dog. This is that $50 Scrap Yard 2015 Coolster. And you know, you always got to start. Last video I gave you guys was more or less what to look for if you're buying one of these rats. You know, a couple little things to do, whether you take this little cover off and try to turn the engine over to make sure she's good, looking over the tires, the frame for cracks, all that trivia. So, having done that and realizing this thing, you know, should the engine run, it has the potential to run and move and be, you know, halfway decent. Now it's time to start thinking about getting the engine fired up. Now, to do that, I did not have the key for it, right? This is the key switch, and you can see it's in the off position. If you look at the back of the key switch, as you turn it, right, this, I'm going to call it shorting bar, turns around, right? And when it's off, it shorts the green, which is ground, to the black and white. That's simple. And when you turn it on, see this black here and this red here, it shorts those two together. So that's how you turn it on. And let's say, right, that's on. And if you look at the neutral light, right, and I touch these two wires together, I don't know, could you guys see that? How the neutral light comes on. See that? So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to short these two together, and I've just turned on the neutral light. On this particular bike, you cannot engage the starter unless you pull this in and like engage the locking brake or hold it. So that was the second thing I did. After I did that, I ran a quick compression test on it. And I like to do this just so that in my mind I have some kind of idea what kind of shape the motor's in. This was done about 15 minutes ago, maybe a little more, and you could see somewhere up at around 132, 135. It probably drifted down. It might have been as high as 140, which is really nice compression, right? So this engine appears to be in pretty nice shape. You guys know how to do a compression test, but just to remind you, because we can get screwed on this, even those of us who really know what we're doing, right? When you do a compression test, you make sure the throttle is wide open, or you take the carburetor off, you make sure the choke is opened, and in my case, my air cleaner is really horrible, dirty, like caked with mud, so I took that off. That's how you do the compression test. If you don't do it that way, you might get readings that just don't make any sense. They might be too high or too low, so you truly will not know the condition of the motor. So, remember, once again, compression test, obviously zero the gauge, screw it on, throttle wide open, choke wide open, and it's really best to get the air filter off, maybe put your pinky in there or something, make sure that the choke is in fact open. Don't just take for granted that it's marked the right way, slide up, slide down, whatever. Just make sure your choke is truly opened. Once I did that, and I deliberately put this tape here so that you could see, I took the spark plug out In this case, it's one of them torch spark plugs, which means it's probably the original spark plug. Spark plug wasn't in bad shape. Didn't look like it had a load of miles on it. Looked like it was burning properly. But I did take it out and go through the trouble of cleaning it. Let me see if I can't show you her sparking. I don't know if you guys are able to see that. Anyway, hopefully you could see that, and it shows that I have spark. So, where to next? The right thing to do next is to pull the carburetor off and give it a cleaning and put it back on before you try to start it. I smelled the gas, and given that this is a 2015 model, right, it's only a couple years old, the gas really smells pretty good. I looked in the gas tank. I didn't see anything floating around in there. I mean, there was no whiff of bad gas. So what I'm going to attempt to do is I'm going to smash that spark plug in. And quite honestly, I'm going to attempt to fire it up. If it starts, I'm going to drive it around back and kind of put this thing in a little bit of temporary storage. I have a few other projects cooking, and I like to have a lot of things moving at the same time. So if it fires up, the next time you'll see this bike is when you and I take a ride on it. Yeah, because it's got gas. I checked the oil was good. I got spark. I got compression. Yeah, it should just be a matter of screwing the spark plug back in and firing it up. Then we could drive it up and down the driveway and drive it around back, and we'll see what happens from there. Anyway, folks, wish me good luck on this. We'll see. We'll see how we do. We'll see if it moves. You know, there's so much more that could go wrong from here, right? I could go to put it into gear, and it could just make a horrible grinding sound, or I could pop it into gear. It could start, I could pop it into gear, and for $50 I more or less stole a quad. One of the other things surprised me is the battery was not completely flat. And by that I mean it didn't have enough oomph to turn the engine over. When I pulled the plug out just to turn it over to see if it would go round, my first try, so to speak, and I mean it turned it a little bit. It turned it slowly. It wasn't completely flat. I had put the jump pack on, but I forgot to turn the jump pack off. So then I reached down and turned the jump pack on, and it turned around nice and fast. So it was like, wow, there's still a little bit left in the battery. So this thing might be a really nice winner. Even in its current condition with the battered front end, assuming it starts by itself, like you know, I replaced the key switch, or I you know, put some kind of toggled key switch there or whatever. Assuming it'll start on its own, right? It'll fire up on its own and move. Even with the smashed front end and everything else, it's still got to be worth at the minimum of $150. So I will have tripled my money for only an hour or two's worth of work, and it's the kind of work I really enjoy, especially when the thing starts and runs and is ready to move. I enjoy it a little less when it's time to start it and you realize that the valves are banged up, and you know, you got another parts machine that you got to either part out, put in storage, or whatever. Another parts machine in the way, let's put it that way. So anyway, once again, wish me luck. We'll see how she does. I want to thank you all for watching and commenting and subscribing. Remember to keep your feet down, keep your heads up, and please get out there and enjoy all your days. Bye now, folks.